I'm Julia, and I'm the artist behind Julia Angel Studio. I'm about to launch my website and start selling my art prints, so I wanted to share the process of what it's been like to post on social media, and I wanted to share my story and just a little bit about me. I've been drawing ever since I was a kid. Started out with stick figures and very simple drawings, and that slowly grew into more realistic drawings. I kind of just drew whenever I had the free time. Around beginning high school, I stopped for a few years because I thought I wasn't good enough. I'm not gonna be perfect, and I was just learning, but it was really hard for me to continue. In the end of high school, I got back into it, and at the same time, instead of fully putting my effort into art, I got into marine biology. So I went on to university after graduating and pursued a marine biology degree. And after 4 long years, I finished, I graduated, and those years were very hard but very rewarding. I learned so much about this world that we live in, and it was a beautiful experience. During college, I didn't really paint often. I didn't really have the time. I did a few art pieces here and there just to get out my emotions, and that's where a lot of my abstract pieces come from. After I graduated, I took some time off and I began to paint a little bit. From my social media, you might have seen some of my artworks. That's where my octopus painting came from. The thing that really made me try and pursue art was the people around me. I was so lucky to have a great support group that pushed me to put my art out there. It took a few months of convincing, and then one day I posted my art and I kept going with it. And here we are. Pretty much every day since, I've been working on art and posting and thinking of new videos and where I'm gonna take my art career. And then a few weeks ago, I decided to make a shop, a website to sell my art. And that's where we are now. The process has been a lot. I'm still learning a lot. So, like I said, I haven't even posted my website, so any of my advice or my story could be completely different from yours if you're wanting to pursue art. Who knows if this art career of mine will be able to lead to somewhere, but I wanted to at least give it a try. I initially posted on Instagram. Then after a few days, I realized if I'm posting on Instagram, may as well post everywhere else. Anytime I would post on TikTok, I would then take that same video and post it on Instagram and YouTube. It was just a way to get more audience. Some things I have learned about social media is I think it's best to not put all your eggs in one basket and to really post on all platforms. During this time, I've listened to so many podcasts to try to learn so much about social media, and the things that I have found to really reign true for me, posting it on all platforms at least gives you more confidence. I will have a video get only 13 views on TikTok. And if that was the only platform I posted on, that could feel really disheartening. But posting on YouTube, that same video got more than 1,000 views and way more likes. And so each platform really reacts differently to different videos. So one video might do fantastic on TikTok, but pretty bad on YouTube. Having those multiple platforms, it's kind of helps keep your morale up when you can see it's not necessarily me or it's a bad video, it's just not the right audience. As an artist, when you're showing your art, it's hard to not think that, oh, maybe it's just my art. Maybe that painting that I showed was just ugly. It's not the case. It really isn't, trust me. I have filmed multiple videos of the same art piece, and they all do very differently on different platforms. Don't take it too personal of, oh, my art is bad. It's just not the right audience. Moving along from social media, that process has been a little easier than my website. I don't know anything about business. I don't know anything about building a website. It was a complete new experience. So I did a ton of research and I listened to a ton of podcasts. Every hour of the day I was listening to how I can build my art career. This took a lot of thinking, a lot of contemplation of what I should do. I decided to have two websites. So one is using Wix.com, and on there I show my portfolio of all my art. It took a little bit of learning, but it was fairly easy. And for my shop, my store, I really debated on if I should use Etsy, Wix, or Shopify. I did a lot of research and found that Shopify was the best for me. With Etsy, I believe they take a portion of your sales and you have to pay for each product that you post. So with the pros with Etsy, I found were that you get a lot of, I guess, free marketing. So people just swiping through looking for things to browse and shop, they might stumble across your art. And so that can be easier for artists who aren't marketing themselves on social media. I, however, am posting pretty much every day on all my social media and YouTube. And so since I was marketing for myself, I thought that the cons outweighed the pros. And so I thought about going on to Wix because I already had my website made. And it would have been a lot easier if I had just clicked a little button to add an online shop and added all my products. However, with Wix, there's a few things that their e-commerce is lacking because they aren't solely made to sell online. However, with Shopify, they're solely made to sell online. I'm pretty sure they're the #1 in e-commerce and selling online, and I decided to go with Shopify. And it was very hard at first. There was a lot to learn. It's not like Wix where you can have full control of what each little detail looks like while also being able to view it at the same time. I found it a little difficult because you couldn't necessarily see like Wix where you can just click and drag and drop. It took a few days to really get the hang of it, but they also have an AI that was very, very helpful. That AI I had many conversations with to fix everything. You can even ask it for like coding advice. Some things you just can't change, and so you have to put a physical code in to change it. And so now I have two websites, one for my portfolio and one for my online store. And yeah, that was my experience with making the website. And now on to all of the equipment and supplies I use to sell my art. I did a ton of research to see what everyone else was using, what the best thing was, and after watching a bunch of videos on other people packaging their art prints, I found that these were the essentials. So these are cellophane, I think. They're clear bags, so it keeps all the art very protected inside of the envelope that you then mail off. And then of course you need something to protect the outside and make sure it doesn't bend. So I got rigid mailers. So this is like the outside of the packaging, and that's what really keeps it secure. And I also got a backing board, which hasn't come in yet. I'll have the print and then backing board, and that'll go inside the plastic sleeve, which will then go inside here. And I'll have the label right here, do not bend. Some other things that I found that was really needed, but I already ended up having, thankfully, was a scale, because when you ship it off, how heavy the package is really matters on the pricing on shipping. And then of course I don't know what this thing is called. Cutting tool. If anyone knows what this is called, please let me know. I have no idea. And a very important thing that I didn't realize till fairly later on was that you really need a PO box if you're shipping from your home, because when you ship it off, your return address will be your home address, and you're basically doxing yourself, and you just don't know who's out there, and that can be a really big safety risk. So definitely look into a PO box. And of course, you also need a printer. So what I'm using is the Epson Expression Photo HD XP 15,000. I have yet to use it, so this isn't a review at all on its performance, but I found that this was the cheapest yet best for printing art prints printer. Some reviews that I saw were that it uses ink like crazy and the ink costs a lot, so that might be a downfall later on, but it seemed pretty reliable, so hopefully it's good. Maybe I'll give a review on it later. We'll see. And then onto the equipment I use for like filming. Right now, I'm using my Sony camera, and it's on a tripod that I just ended up having at home, and I'm using a ring light that I also ended up just having around. So I also have another tripod that I'll end up putting my phone up to get like 2 angles. If I'm doing longer videos like this, then I'll be using the camera. My phone is, I believe it's an iPhone 14 Pro Max. And so it has a really good camera. And then of course I also have a laptop to edit everything on. I use CapCut. I know a lot of other creators use that, but it really is like the best. And that's everything I can think of. So if you have any questions about me or what the process, then just leave a comment down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye.